Hello, everybody, and welcome to Caldenberg Consulting TV. I am your host, Brian Caldenberg. We have got a very, very special episode for you today, and a very special guest with us. Folks, it doesn't get much better than this. With us today is veteran in the marketing and PR field. He's a renowned speaker and author of best-selling book, The New Rules of Marketing and PR, David Meerman Scott. David, it's a pleasure to have you today.
Hey, Brian, it's good to be here, although veteran makes me feel old, so that's okay. We'll live with that. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Why don't you start off by telling my viewers a little bit about your background and what it is you do and what, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I was vice president of marketing of a couple of different publicly traded technology companies. I was also Asia marketing director for Knight Ridder. I was based in Tokyo for 6 years and Hong Kong for 2 years. And for the last, almost 10 years, I've been on my own. I've been writing books and giving speeches about how marketing and PR has changed because of the web. And it's interesting to me that a lot of people who learned how to do marketing in an offline environment haven't been all that good at making the transition from offline marketing to online marketing.
Well, David, Facebook was in the news recently. They have just passed Google as the #1 most visited site in the United States. What are your thoughts on companies starting to use Facebook as part of their marketing or PR campaign?
I think it's broader than that. A lot of people sort of think, well, I can use Facebook to market. I actually think it's much more fundamental than that. And I think what it means is that companies, or actually organizations of all types, not just companies, need to think about how they use Facebook to communicate. And I'll give you an example. I've done a lot of work for the United States Air Force. And when I was at South by Southwest, I brought one of my friends, Captain Nathan Brochure, who runs public affairs for a broad part of the Air Force with me. He's actually in charge of Air Forces Southern, which means he does public affairs down in Haiti. He was down there for the last couple of months because of the earthquake. Today is on his way to Chile to help out there. One of the things that they do is they encourage their airmen. They call everyone in the Air Force airmen, whether they're men or women, to be on Facebook, because what better way to communicate with your family back home, with your friends who maybe want to join the Air Force, with other people, with people on the ground in the countries that they're in. And the Department of Defense actually has a social media policy which encourages airmen and anyone from the Defense Department to be on these social networking sites. So I think it goes a hell of a lot farther than just marketing, because I think when people think marketing, they think advertising on Facebook or doing a fan page or something. I think it's more fundamental than that. I think if this is the way people are communicating.
Let's talk a little bit about online video. That's really become hot in the last 2-3 years. I still don't see a whole lot of companies really getting on the bandwagon, which I think is a mistake. What's been your biggest challenge, because I know you do some coaching, getting companies to embrace online video?
There's two ways that people push back. One way they push back is they say that online video it's not real. It's for kids, or, YouTube, isn't that where you can see videos of cats walking on piano keys, this kind of thing. So a lot of people don't treat it seriously. They don't think it's like a real form of marketing. That's the first part of pushback I get. The second pushback I get is around the fear that they have that it's going to take too much time, effort, and money to create videos. People think of high production value and studios and lights and sound men and all that to create a video because maybe they're familiar with television commercials or whatever. But of course, both of those things are false. Video is real. There are many companies using video as marketing tools, and it doesn't need to be high production values. It can be something as simple as we're doing right now, which is just an interview chat.
Yeah, and I've noticed, the Flip HD records in 720p. I've seen some of your videos
when
you've been overseas, and that's, they're pretty good quality.
They work great for me. I have 3 of them. And I have them in different bags that I carry around, so I've almost always got one with me. And you never know when you're going to run into somebody. I I was in India, Mumbai, India, a couple of months ago. Happened to run into the Chief Information Officer of the United Kingdom. You know, who gets a chance to bump into in the hallway, the CIO of the UK, ask him for a quick, you know, we ended up with a 5-minute or 6-minute interview. I mean, you just don't get those opportunities very often. And when you do, if you have a camera at your side, then all of a sudden you've got some great content. And, you know, there's no high production values there. It's just a quick interview, but it can be great.
David, I mentioned earlier you do a little coaching. What do you see as maybe the next big trend or next thing coming down the pipe that people don't see right now?
You know, the thing I've been talking about, people do see it. So I'm not by any means claiming to see something way into the future, but I'm a big fan of the GPS-enabled applications on mobile devices that have become interestingly popular recently. Things like Foursquare and Layer. Just the idea that when you're carrying around your iPhone or another mobile device, I'm an iPhone guy, so here's my iPhone. And if you got your iPhone with you, the GPS coordinates in the iPhone knows where you are, and then you can pinpoint your location, which becomes really interesting as a marketer to be able to use that information. And you as a consumer, it becomes very interesting as well. So I think we're going to see an explosion of different ways to use GPS-enabled iPhone apps as a tool for business.
So, for example, maybe 11 o'clock a.m. Subway starts pushing out ads with people within a 20-minute radius of their subway.
Yeah, but I think that sounds spammy to me.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of spam, so I would not like to see a model where you get a message because you happen to be nearby somewhere. You know, for example, on Sunday evening, I went to the Mashable party at South by Southwest. It was at a place called Buffalo Billiards. And so I was lucky enough to get on the VIP lift, so I didn't have to wait in the 2.5-hour line, which I would never have done. So I wouldn't have gone to the event in that case. A lot of people really waited it out to get to that party. Anyway, I get in. First thing I do, pull out my iPhone, fire up Foursquare, and say, here's where I am. And then a message pops up and says, thank you for your first visit to Buffalo Billiards. And then there's another little message that says, special offer. So I go to the special offer, and it says, if you check in 5 times at Buffalo Billiards, means 5 different times you go there, you get a free shot and a beer. Now that's interesting because, you know, now they know you're there. They know, you know, they do know you're there because the GPS coordinates pinpoint you there, and you've checked in there. And they say if you come 5 times, you get a free shot and a beer. And that, you know, that's just one example. But you know, anything that's location based, mobile device based, I'm pretty interested in right now.
And that's cool. I know we got to wrap this up. I've noticed I've been watching these Foursquare things on Facebook, which my friends, I didn't know what Foursquare was really, but they're checking in places, and then it updates to their Facebook wall. So
yeah.
That's really how these places can take this stuff viral. Well, we're doing the market. Well, David, I really appreciate it today.
Sure.
Thanks for your time, and best of luck to you in the future.